I'm Christian de la Huerta with Soulful Power, and we've been talking about the different kinds of programs that we offer, and within that, the different themes of the different subjects for the retreats. So we looked at power, we looked at relationships, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the Soulful Purpose retreat. And the way that I think about purpose, it's like, based on my experience, there is nothing really in our life. There's no amount of money, no amount of sex, no amount of travel, no amount of possessions, no amount of external adulation for the world that is going to fulfill us. I think most of us have learned that along the way. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that's going to fulfill us is when we give full expression to that unique human potential that's inside each one of us. There isn't another human being in this universe or any other universe that has the same genetics, the same set of experiences that make each one of us who we are. If we don't give full expression to that, nobody else is going to do it. And as far as I'm concerned, as I said, that's what's going to give us a sense of fulfillment. Everything else is secondary. Everything else adds to the human experience. Person that really comes to mind for me is when we speak about power is Viktor Frankl, the Austrian psychiatrist who spent years in concentration camps. He lost everybody in his family, including his beloved wife, kind of soulmate kind of relationship. And so being a psychiatrist, he would sit there and analyze, ponder why it was that some people seemed to survive and others didn't. And from his observations, and I was really blessed that when I was in high school taking an advanced placement psychology class, I was able to hear him speak in person before he passed. And an amazing man, extraordinary book. So he observed that in that most inhuman of settings, education had nothing to do with it. Physical strength, physical power, physical might, nothing to do with it. Beauty didn't seem to matter. Social status, how much money you had, education beforehand, none of that mattered in that setting. In that way, it was a great equalizer. What seemed to make a difference, the people who seemed to have a tendency to survive more than others, were those who had a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose. And so he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. So in the Soulful Purpose retreat, we spend time looking at ways in which we know. Like, some of us are really clear about what our purpose is. Like, we know. Perhaps we haven't been giving expression to that because of fear, ultimately. Some type of fear, some expression of fear that we have allowed ourselves to hold us back. Self-doubt, self-questioning, am I good enough? Will I fail? How will I pay the bills if I really follow my soul's calling? So those are the type of issues that we will look at as ways that we have allowed ourselves to not step fully into our purpose. So we'll look at both, how do we know, in the case that you don't know, because some of us have no idea. Some of us have many different gifts, many abilities, so we have a hard time figuring out what is really my purpose. And so we'll spend some time looking at ways in which we know, in which we discover what we've come here to do at a mission level, at a soul level. And then we'll look at some of those ways that we have allowed ourselves to not fulfill them. And when we breathe, in these retreats, we do the multiple breathwork sessions, which again are compounded. The effect of it, the power of it, the effectiveness of it is compounded when you do 4 back-to-back, sometimes 5 or 6 in the longer retreat settings. And so that's where the source of all those self-doubts and self-questioning, what I call the self-inflicted mind fucks, the numbers that we do on ourselves to keep ourselves from fully expressing who we are, to keep ourselves from really unleashing who we are in the world, holding nothing back. So join us. I know this is an issue that's up for many people in this time of great change, and as the worldwide economic system is becoming more and more evident that it's all illusion. So where are we going to place our trust? That's another issue that we play with. Are we going to place our trust on a company that could go belly up tomorrow, or a global system that is all illusion and that could implode at any moment, and yet we sell ourselves so cheaply for the illusion of security, because it's illusion. The whole thing is illusion. So, but we sell ourselves cheaply for the illusion of security of that biweekly paycheck. And if you told me, well, yeah, my biweekly paycheck is $750,000, okay, well, maybe we can talk. But most of us are selling ourselves way cheaply than that. And so we're selling this huge human potential away, like squandering it, our dreams, our potential for that illusion of security of a biweekly paycheck. So we'll look at that also in the retreat. Like, what is trust, and how do we get to that place of trust that if we answer the call of the soul, that it will be supported. So if this is an issue that is up for you, come to one of the retreats. You'll be really glad you did, promise. And if you haven't looked at the other retreats, the relationships, the personal empowerment, go check the website, soulfulpower.com. And as always, keep breathing.